Landing at Charlotte Douglas International Airport today is giving WBTV his first-hand account tonight. Good evening and thanks for joining us here at 11 o'clock. I'm Molly Grantham. We have new video here at 11 from inside the Delta Flight 1092 as this plane landed on the runway without nose gear. This video was taken by one of the 96 passengers on board. You can see the plane right there as it bumps. Going down, landing, all things considered, though, pretty gentle. No one was hurt here, and that is just remarkable. After landing, passengers had to exit the plane using an evacuation slide, and then everyone walked to the airport without their belongings. The NTSB is now investigating the incident. Our Cam Gaskins is live at the airport tonight. So, Cam, you've been following this the past few hours. What's the latest?
Yeah, so what we know is the latest, that plane is now off of the runway, but we know that it sat on that runway for the majority of this day from about 8:30 this morning until 7 o'clock this evening, keeping that runway closed for all traffic throughout the day. Now, you talked about the passengers having to get off of the plane. Once they exited the emergency landing, they couldn't take their belongings with them, but we do know that tonight all of their bags have either been returned to them or they have been shipped to the passengers' final destinations. Now, I did speak, like you said, one-on-one with one of the passengers on board who says that a lot of credit deserves to go to this Delta crew on board for taking what could have been a very scary situation and keeping it in check. It's all new at 11.
This was the scene Wednesday morning as a Delta flight from Atlanta heading to Charlotte had to land on its nose due to landing gear malfunction. Edward Cates was flying from Atlanta for business. He tells us that roughly 20 minutes before landing, the pilots told the passengers there was an issue.
It was an announcement that we were having problems with the front landing gear and that we may have to do an emergency landing.
You see in this video here, the plane comes close to landing, then pulls up and flies away. Cates tells us this was a tower flyby so that ground control could visually confirm a lack of landing gear. After circling for a few minutes up in the air, the time came for a hard-nosed landing. Cates says that when they touched down, he heard screeching, and then a smell came shortly after.
In the last 3 or 4 seconds, we smelled smoke and saw smoke in the cabin.
A moment that could have been chaotic, he says was surprisingly calm in the cabin.
I think this was my 40th flight segment for the year, so I put my life in Delta's hands a lot. Maybe I should have been a little more nervous. I felt very secure that I was in good hands with the Delta team.
96 passengers on board, none reported any injuries. Cates gives all the credit to this minor miracle to the crew on board.
You know, I can't say enough amazing things about the skilled crew on that flight, but from the pilot to the flight crew, they were amazing.
Though his business trip turned into more than he was expecting, Cates says he's thankful he's back home Wednesday night in Atlanta, able to see his wife.
Ultimately, I get to fly home safe and sound and alive, and the rest of it will figure itself out.
Now, Cates did just text me about an hour or so ago to say that he has landed safely and it was a much less eventful flight home going back to Atlanta. Now, as for what actually caused that malfunction to the landing gear in the first place, Molly, as you said, the NTSB is conducting a full and thorough investigation into figuring out that cause. Reporting live at Charlotte Douglas International Airport, I'm Cam Gaskins, WBTV on your side.
Certainly a wild day, though, at the airport. Cam, thank you. And the plane sitting